Welcome, guys. Now we are going to see a game between Kasparov and Tukmakov, Vladimir Tukmakov. Both are Russian players, and this game took place in Russia. So 49th Soviet Championship, round 17. The opening is King's Indian Defense. Uh, The black player is Kasparov and the white player is Tukmakov. And let's see, Kasparov goes for the King's Indian defense. C4, knight f6, knight c3, g6, e4, d6, d4, bishop g7. For this critical last round, Kasparov used the King's Indian defense. After that, bishop e2, castles, bishop g5. This is the Auerbach variation named for the distinguished grandmaster and theorist Yuri Auerbach. White will create a battery of queen and bishop along the c1 and h6 diagonal and can attack along the h5. And now c5. Kasparov decides to confront the white pawn at d4 right away. d5. And now b5. Actually, either player can open up this closed center, advancing their respective e pawns one square. Black will look for a play on the queen side with b5 and try to make a good use of the dark squares along the h8 and a1 diagonal. A knight can be particularly useful at e5. Now actually b5 was played in the spirit of Benko gambit. The pawn break is a sacrifice, but white must accept with pawn since using the knight would leave the pawn on e4 undefended. The pawn break by forcing the c pawn to abandon the center and support d5, the break accomplishes its purpose. C takes b5 and a6, a4. This is the move that causes black problems. Accepting the gambit by capturing at a6 would lead to normal Benko gambit counterplay. h6. Here queen a5 would lead to queen a5 is a useful move that is considered a better option for black. Bishop d2. e6. This is the standard Benoni break. The pawn confronts white's strong outpost at d5 and adds very dynamic tension to the game. Now d takes e6. If white allows black to capture at d5 and open up the e file, we will reach a modern Benoni position with excellent counterplay for black against white's weak pawn at d5 on the queen side. Bishop takes e6. The structural counter of the middle game is defined. White has an extra pawn of no great significance. Black will work in the center, aiming for an advance of the d pawn. The powerful bishops control the important diagonals, and black's position is already comfortable. Knight f3, a takes b5, bishop takes b5, and a takes b5 is not good because bishop b3, because of bishop b3, queen c1, rook takes a1, queen takes a1, queen e7, e5, d takes e5, and castles e4. So after bishop takes b5, knight a6, castles, knight c7, rook e1. And here instead of rook e1, bishop e2 is a steadier test of white strategy. And then if for bishop e2, after bishop e2, if black does d5, ed5, knight fd5, knight takes d5, and knight takes d5, then white plays queen c2 here, and after queen d6, bishop b5, keeping the b file closed and holding on to small advantage. So after rook e1, knight takes b5, knight takes b5, d5. Black uses another pawn break, this time at d5, to take on the remaining white central pawn. Once this is gone, black is free to maneuver pieces around the board. E takes d5, knight takes d5, knight e5. This is an excellent move. Black must be careful not to overlook threats of knight takes g6, as the pawn at f7 is needed to defend the bishop at e6. And now rook e8, rook c1. This is such a logical move, and it is surprising that it turns out to be a mistake. But white had to play in the center with knight c4, followed by an occupation of the d6 square, where a knight thoroughly disrupts the communication of black's pieces. Now, however, black gets a strong game by opening the e file for the rook. Bishop f5, knight c6, and knight c6. Now knight c4 is it is too late, because after rook takes e1, bishop takes e1, knight f4, queen takes d8, rook takes d8, and there is threat all over the light squares. So white went for knight c6, now queen d7, now rook takes c5, rook takes e1, queen takes e1, rook e8, queen c1, knight b6. In return for the c pawn, black has a strong initiative, and white must be ever careful to guard the back rank. Black's bishops can operate on either side of the board, but white's knights are stuck on the queen side. b3, rook e2. This is a necessary preparation for black's next move. Bishop a5. White fails to appreciate black Kasparov's plan. Bishop a5 and bishop e4. Bishop e4 and now knight e5. And now queen e7. Now the black queen targets both the knight and the rook. Now knight d4. Actually white had to retreat the queen to f1 when a draw would have been still made possible. If queen f1, this would have led to rook a2. Bishop takes b6, and after bishop takes e5, and bishop takes e5, and then if knight c3, then black sacrifices the bishop to earn a draw. Bishop takes h2, king takes h2, queen h4, queen h4, then after king g1, bishop takes g2, king takes g2, then queen g4 check, king h2, then queen h4 check. This would lead to a draw. Knight d4 here. After white plays knight d4, rook a2, bishop takes b6, bishop takes e5, queen e3. And now the tactical shot, queen takes c5, as the back rank is weak. The queen cannot be captured. After bishop takes c5, there is rook a1 check. Okay guys, I hope you would have enjoyed this game. I'll meet you in the next game. Thank you.